Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? ¿Cómo están? Bienvenidos a un nuevo video de solo para fanáticos de wrestling en colaboración con Wrestling para Todos, obviamente en la sección de entrevistas. Mi compañero Martín estuvo con Sebastián entrevistando a la ex Ring of Honor, a la ex NXT y actual campeona knockout de Impact. Estoy hablando de nada más y nada menos que de Deonna Purrazzo. Así que muchachos, antes de que vayamos con el video, no olvides dejar tu like, no olvides dejar tu comentario y tampoco la suscripción, que es muy importante para nosotros. Así que sin más preámbulo, vamos con la entrevista.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to one of the most talented wrestlers in the world. She's the Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion, the Virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. How are you doing today, Deonna?
I'm good, guys. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
We're doing fine. Thank you, Deonna. Thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
And let's begin then. My first question is the following. How did your interest in being a wrestler begin, and how were your beginnings in the wrestler business like?
Yeah, so I grew up a wrestling fan. I have a twin brother who loved wrestling, so seeing him watch made me want to watch. And I saw Stone Cold Steve Austin hit someone over the head with a chair. And I was like, I need to know everything about this. So that's kind of how I started watching wrestling. And then I got to see the women do it. So women like Trish Stratus and Lita and Jazz and Victoria, Jacqueline, those kind of women in that era really made me think that if I could one day learn how to wrestle, I could wrestle too. And then when I was 18, I found a wrestling school close to my house, and I started wrestling.
Cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. And well, a few years after your debut, you started wrestling in Ring of Honor. How do you remember your time there?
Yeah, I had so much fun at Ring of Honor because I learned so much about myself there. And they didn't have a lot of women's wrestling for years up until that point. So to be able to come in myself and Mandy Leon and kind of help them create a division and see that women's wrestling was wanted and marketable and something they could really build upon was a dream come true for me. Eventually they had a Women of Honor Championship tournament that I was a part of, and now they're just bringing that back. They have a whole new tournament going on. It makes me really happy that they see the value in women's wrestling.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's very cool.
Okay. Well, Deonna, you also competed in Stardom in a couple of years. What do you remember about the experience of competing in Japan?
Yeah, I was so scared because there's a language barrier. And I had never met any of the girls that I was going to be living with. So Toni Storm was there, Shayna Baszler was there. For just the first few days, there was Viper, Piper Niven, or Dewdrop, who is on Raw now. Nixon was there, who's Tegan Knox now, Chris Wolf. So there was Zoe Lucas, such a plethora of women that were names in wrestling that I was intimidated by, and I didn't know if I could be friends with or if I would make friends with. It was just a complete scary situation that ended up being one of the best times of my life. I was there for 3 months, and Toni Storm and Zoe Lucas are my absolute best friends now. So that was the first time I was ever away from home. So more than just wrestling, which I had so much fun doing and learning a different style and Japanese style. But as a human, I had such a life experience that I will never forget, and it's probably one of the best of my life.
Very cool, very
Excellent.
cool. And well, we all know that you were a part of WB for some time, especially in NXT. How was the experience of being there and sharing the ring with wrestlers such as Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley?
Yeah, it was a learning curve to be in WWE, and although it didn't work out, I got to have so many great experiences, like wrestling Rhea, like wrestling Tony there, like being on Raw with Asuka. So those were kind of like bucket list things that I got to do that no matter whether I'm there or not, no one can ever take away from me. So it was an experience that I'm happy I had.
Diana, but besides wrestling in NXT, you also appeared a few times in the main roster, specifically in WWE Raw, facing Asuka and Nia Jax. How do you feel about those matches?
The match with Asuka is by far one of my favorite of my entire career, because I had wrestled on Asuka a couple times on NXT. I had wrestled Nia a couple times on NXT, but I never really got to have time or show who Deonna Purrazzo is. It was very much a squash match, right? So I got to wrestle Asuka. We had 12 minutes on Raw, 2 segments, and it was me standing toe to toe against at the time I think she was the WWE Tag Team Champions with Kairi Sane. So that was really a moment for me to just like, I deserve this. I've worked really hard for this, and this is for Deonna. It's not for anyone else. So I'm super proud of that moment.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that match. It was very good. And well, I wanted to ask you too. After your departure from WWE, you signed with Impact, and you quickly became the Knockouts champion. How did it feel to reach the top of the company in just a couple of months?
Yeah, it's crazy. Not what I expected at all. But part of not being with WWE anymore was because I felt very underutilized, and I felt like I had a lot more to give and a lot more work that I wanted to do. And again, it was never for me. It was me being part of someone else's story. I wanted a story. And leaving WWE and coming right into Impact, they gave me all the opportunities to make everything about me, to tell my story, to debut properly, and to really explain who the Virtuosa is. So I didn't expect to win the championship at Slammiversary last year or be a champion for almost a year now, but I've embraced every opportunity that they've given me to put my best foot forward and put myself out there in the best light that I can. And I'm so appreciative of Impact for giving me that chance and that ball so I could run with it.
Cool. Deonna, you had a lot of tough matches since you arrived in Impact, including an Iron Woman match against Jordynne Grace. How was the feeling to be involved in that kind of match, especially defending your Knockouts championship?
Yeah, that was a match that I did not expect to have. When we were told we were having that match, Jordan and I both were not happy. But I think that there's not very many firsts for women's wrestling anymore. No one gets to be, the first Iron Woman of Impact Wrestling anymore. Because I'm that. No one can take that from me. So I think that it's really special that we got that opportunity to be a 30-minute main event on Impact Wrestling and have it be the first ever Iron Woman match. That's on my resume for life. No one can take it from me. Jordynne Grace is a hell of an opponent. She literally beats you up and has no mercy. So to be able to defeat her one more time and retain my Knockouts championship was, I think, pivotal for the reign that I was going to have as Knockouts champion.
Yeah, very cool, that match. And also, I wanted to ask you, before going to the next question, what was it like to defend your title against Jazz? Because you mentioned it as one of the people who inspired you. What do you think about the match and retiring her from Impact?
Well, they say don't meet your idols, right? No, it was fun. I had never gotten to work with Jazz before. I had never met Jazz before she came into Impact Wrestling. So to get that story and to retire Jazz meant a lot to me because she has done so much for women's wrestling. She was so ahead of her time and she's never got the credit for it. So my goal was to do her justice, to have her go out in something she was proud of. And then, it's one more accolade for the Virtuosa.
Yeah, that's a very good accolade to retire one of the big legends in the business. And well, you're defending the Impact Knockouts champion this Sunday on Slammiversary against an unknown opponent. Was it Saturday or Sunday? I don't remember quite the day. Saturday, sorry about that. What do you feel about this match? And if you have to pick your opponent, who would you be? Who will be your opponent if you would pick it?
That's a good question. Obviously, I'd love it to be Chelsea Green. Chelsea's my best friend, but she also is part of those people that were recently released by WWE, and she just got out of her 90-day contract. So she can pop up anywhere. She just popped up at Ring of Honor. I would love to see her be my opponent at Impact. Not only has she had a history of a broken arm, so it would be easy to retain because I could just break it again. But I would just love for her to get the opportunities that she wasn't afforded elsewhere. That said, if it's not Chelsea, I mean, Britt Baker is the AEW Women's Champion. So if I could defeat Britt, then I'd have all the championships. And that's what I'd like.
Wow, excellent. That sounds like the Virtuosa promo. Excellent. Good, cool. Deonna, you recently competed in AAA, and we know that you are going to be there again on Triple Mania. What do you feel about this new opportunity of working in Mexico?
Yeah, it's a learning curve for sure. I've never been to Mexico before for wrestling, so I was very intimidated when I went the first time a couple months ago because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know who I'd be wrestling or what I'd be doing, and to challenge Fabi Apache, who is a multi-time Reina de Reinas champion, and then to do it at Triple Mania, which is, their WrestleMania, it's their biggest show of the year. I get to be a part of that, and from a personal level, that's really cool, but I keep saying we're in the age of the Virtuosa, and I want my Knockouts Championship to be the most coveted, the most important, the most challenged for championship in the world. So to be able to bring it to Mexico and defend it, but then also retain it and win the Reina de Reinas Championship is amazing, and it's an opportunity I'm very much looking forward to.
And before letting my partner go into the next question, I wanted to ask you, Deonna, is there anyone in AEW that you would like to face? Because they have a lot of great wrestlers too. Impact, AEW, and WWE are probably the top 3 companies regarding women's wrestling right now. So what do you think about AEW wrestlers and who you'd like to face?
Oh gosh, okay, well I already said Britt, so of course Britt. But other than Britt, I feel like I'd love to wrestle Sheeta. She was, the longest reigning champion in AEW history. I would love to wrestle Red Velvet, and I'm trying to think of all the women because there's so much. Layla Hirsch is there. I'd love to wrestle her. I think their women's division is great. It's growing. It's building. And with Britt at the forefront, I think it's the sky is unlimited. You know what I mean?
Yes, cool. Deonna, before going to my main question, I want to ask you because I was recently on Instagram and I saw that Ivelisse announced that it's going to be your opponent, Ivelisse La Sicaria, also known as La Sicaria. So I want to ask you, what to expect about that match, that the Virtuosa against La Sicaria, Deonna against Ivelisse? What to expect about it?
Oh, you know what? Ivelisse and I have already wrestled one other time. So I expect someone to be interfered with. I expect her to cheat because that's exactly what she did last time. I had her in the Fujiwara armbar, and her friend had run out and interfered in the match. So, expect the unexpected. I am excited. It's at SWE Fury in Texas. So those shows are amazing. Jazz helps run them, so it's so fun to get Jazz's opinion, have her there to help me grow and put together stuff. So I'm excited to wrestle Ivelisse again, absolutely.
Yes, so the only thing what to expect is interference.
Yes.
From her. Okay, I'm going to expect that too. Okay. Now, Deonna, to my main question, and this is another topic, different topic. Maybe this is premature to ask, but do you think that you're right now at the top of your career, or do you feel that there's still bigger things coming in your future?
Ooh, you know what? I think there's bigger things coming. I don't think this is it. I think I've shown over the last year and a half with Impact what I'm capable of, but especially because we have AAA on the horizon, and some really other cool opportunities that I can't share just yet. I think that I have so much more work to do, and I'm not done yet. So I think I'm doing my best work, but I think it's only going to get better from here.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. Hopefully. And before closing this interview, I wanted to ask you, where can people follow you on social media? And also, we know that you have a Patreon account. Can you tell us what people can find in your Patreon if they subscribe to your account?
Yeah, so everyone can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Deonna Purrazzo. But I do have a Patreon, and it's, compared to other Patreons, I think it's pretty simple. But we do monthly Q&As, we do birthday cards, we do live Sign It lives, where I sign photos for everyone that have purchased live, interaction. We do merch deals and discount codes and all things like that. So if that's something anyone is interested in, you can find me at patreon.com/Deonna Purrazzo.
Perfect. And before you go, can you please send a message to our fans that are watching this interview, and also invite them to Impact Slammiversary this Saturday. Sorry, it's going to be a great show, and you will wrestle there, defend your Impact Championship against an unknown opponent. So please send a message to our fans.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys all so much for listening, for supporting me, for supporting Impact Wrestling. The next way you can do that is going to fight.tv and ordering Slammiversary, where we will see me defend and retain my Knockouts Championship.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time, Deonna. It was a great interview, and take care. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.